In this week's episode, DeepSeek coding flaws, cryptography election failure, OpenAI mixed-panel data breach, Google Gemini 3 launch, ChatGPT group chats, and AI security best practices. This is Priviso Live. Hello everyone, and welcome to Priviso Live South Africa. As you can hear, we're just starting to feel the holiday spirit in the studio. I'm Lynn.
Hey folks, I'm Steven.
And I'm Kayla. How's it, everyone?
And for our listeners, John unfortunately won't be able to continue on the podcast, so Kayla may become a permanent feature of the show.
Glad to be here.
Today we're covering some absolutely fascinating stories from the world of AI security, data breaches, and the latest tech developments that are shaping our digital landscape.
Yeah, and just to set the scene, we're recording this just after the G20 summit has wrapped up here in Joburg. World leaders have been in town, and with next year's municipal elections on the horizon, there's a lot of tech and security talk in the air.
Yeah, and with all these international visitors, cybersecurity has been top of mind. But let's get into today's stories.
Let's start with a rather alarming story about Chinese AI model DeepSeek R1. Steven, you've been following this research from CrowdStrike?
I have, and it's wild. So CrowdStrike discovered that DeepSeek's AI reasoning model produces significantly more security vulnerabilities when it receives prompts containing topics that the Chinese Communist Party likely considers politically sensitive.
Wait, so you're telling me the AI writes bad code on purpose?
Well, not exactly on purpose, but the effect is the same. When DeepSeek R1 receives prompts mentioning Tibet, Uyghurs, or Falun Gong, the likelihood of it producing code with severe vulnerabilities increases by up to 50%.
That's extraordinary. So it's not just about censorship. The AI actually performs worse technically when these topics are involved?
Exactly. Normally, DeepSeek R1 generates vulnerable code in about 19% of cases. But when you add geopolitical modifiers, like telling it to act as a coding agent for a system based in Tibet, that jumps to 27.2%. That's a nearly 50% increase.
That's hectic. So what kind of bugs are we talking about here?
CrowdStrike gave a great example. They asked the model to write a webhook handler for PayPal payments in PHP, but specified it was for a financial institution based in Tibet. The result? Hard-coded secret values, insecure methods for extracting data, and the code wasn't even valid PHP. Yet DeepSeek insisted it followed PayPal's best practices and provided a secure foundation.
And I imagine this has implications beyond just China.
Absolutely. DeepSeek has been banned in several countries, including Taiwan and South Korea, precisely because of national security concerns. The model also censors topics considered sensitive by the Chinese government. It won't answer questions about the Great Firewall of China or Taiwan's political status.
And for us here in South Africa, what's the takeaway? Should companies be worried about using DeepSeek?
Well, Taiwan's National Security Bureau warned that these Chinese AI models can adopt pro-China stances, distort historical narratives, or amplify disinformation. They can also generate network attacking scripts and vulnerability exploitation code. So yeah, companies should be very careful about which AI tools they're using for code generation.
CrowdStrike theorized that DeepSeek likely added specific guardrails during training to adhere to Chinese laws, which require AI services not to produce content that could undermine the status quo. It's a fascinating example of how geopolitics directly impacts the technical quality of AI systems.
And with our municipal elections coming up next year, we need to be careful about AI-generated misinformation too. If these tools can be manipulated like this, imagine what could happen during an election campaign.
Speaking of elections, we've got a rather ironic story about cryptographers who couldn't decrypt their own election results. Kayla, this one's brilliant.
Shame, man. So the International Association of Cryptologic Research, basically one of the world's top security organizations, had to cancel their annual leadership election. Why? Because one of the officials lost the encryption key needed to unlock the results.
You can't make this stuff up. These are literally the people who specialize in cryptography, and they lost the key.
Right, so they were using a system called Helios, which is an open-source voting platform that uses peer-reviewed cryptography to ensure votes are verifiable, confidential, and privacy-preserving. Very sophisticated stuff.
And the way it works is they split the decryption key among 3 trustees, so no 2 people could collude to cook the results. all three had to provide their portion of the key to decrypt the votes.
Which is actually good security design. The problem is one trustee, a guy named Modi Young, who's a cryptographer and research scientist at Google, irretrievably lost his private key.
And because the system required all three keys, it became technically impossible to decrypt the election results. They had to throw out the entire election and start over.
And get this, they're now changing their system to use a 2 out of 3 threshold instead of requiring all three keys, which, probably should have been the design from the start.
The security community had a field day with this one. People were pointing out that no backup is amateur level, and that not using a threshold scheme where you need M out of N keys with M less than N is a pretty basic mistake.
What's fascinating is the human element here. Bruce Schneier, the famous cryptographer, commented that managing keys and secret keys is the hardest part of cryptography, even among the world's best cryptographers.
And for us in South Africa heading into municipal elections, this is a good reminder. Even the most sophisticated electronic voting systems can fail. Sometimes paper ballots are the most reliable backup. Nay?
Absolutely. The IACR's bylaws actually say that in case of system failure, they can fall back to the paper ballot system they used from inception through 2008. That's smart disaster planning.
Now, let's talk about OpenAI and a data breach that affected some of their API users. Stephen, what happened here?
So OpenAI has terminated its relationship with analytics provider Mixpanel after a security incident exposed limited user data. On November 9th, an attacker gained unauthorized access to parts of Mixpanel's systems and exported a dataset containing customer information.
And this was through a smishing attack, right? Like SMS phishing?
Correct. Mixpanel detected a smishing campaign on November 8th, where employees received SMS messages trying to trick them into revealing login credentials. The company responded quickly, but some data was already compromised.
Now, to be clear, this didn't affect regular ChatGPT users. It was limited to people using OpenAI's API platform, so developers and businesses building AI-powered products.
Right. The exposed data included names, email addresses, user IDs, browser details, location data, and organization IDs. But OpenAI emphasized that chat content, API requests, passwords, API keys, payment details, and government IDs were not compromised.
So what's the risk then? If passwords and payment info weren't exposed?
Well, the information that was exposed can be very useful for targeted phishing and social engineering attacks. If attackers know your name, email, organization, and that you're an OpenAI API user, they can craft very convincing phishing emails pretending to be from OpenAI.
And OpenAI is warning users to be vigilant. Watch for credible-looking messages containing links or attachments, and verify they originate from official OpenAI domains. Never send sensitive information like passwords or API keys through email, text, or chat.
And OpenAI axed Mixpanel completely. That's a strong response.
Yes, they removed Mixpanel from all production services and are conducting expanded security reviews across their entire vendor ecosystem, elevating security requirements for all partners. It's a good reminder that third-party vendors are often the weakest link in the security chain.
This is actually similar to what we've seen in South Africa with those Pepkor lifestyle breaches. The actual retailers were secure, but their third-party SMS provider Mobiz got hacked. Supply chain security is critical.
Right, let's shift to some more positive news. Google has launched Gemini 3, which they're calling their most intelligent AI model yet. Kayla, what's the big deal here?
So Google dropped Gemini 3 on November 18th, and unlike previous releases, this one was immediately available across Google Search, the Gemini app, and all their enterprise products from day one. That's huge scale. We're talking 2 billion users through AI overviews and 650 million through the Gemini app.
And the benchmarks are impressive. Gemini 3 Pro scored 1501 ELO on the El Marina leaderboard, which puts it at the top of the pack. It's showing state-of-the-art performance in reasoning, multimodal understanding, and what they're calling agentic capabilities.
What does agentic mean in this context?
It means the AI can plan and execute multi-step tasks across different tools and services. So instead of just answering questions, it can actually complete workflows, like analyzing financial data, adjusting supply chains, or reviewing contracts autonomously.
And they also launched this thing called Google Anti-Gravity, which is a coding platform. It's like Cursor or those other AI coding assistants, but it combines a ChatGPT-style interface with a terminal and a live browser window showing your changes in real time.
This is a part of what they're calling vibe coding, where developers describe what they want to build in natural language, and the AI agents autonomously plan and execute the software development tasks.
Gemini 3 is also much better at understanding context and intent behind requests. Google says you'll need less prompting to get what you need. And they're promising responses that are trading cliché and flattery for genuine insight, telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Yeah, finally. No more of those overly polite AI responses that never actually criticize anything.
There's also a Gemini 3 Deep Think mode coming soon for Ultra subscribers, which is designed for more intensive reasoning tasks. And Google is emphasizing that this is their best model for both consumer and enterprise applications.
The timing is interesting too. This came out just days after OpenAI released GPT-5.1, and about 2 months after Anthropic released Claude Sonnet 4.5. The pace of AI development is absolutely blistering right now.
Speaking of OpenAI, they've just rolled out a group chat feature in ChatGPT globally. Stephen, tell us about this.
Yeah, so OpenAI piloted this in Japan, New Zealand, South Korea, and Taiwan for just 1 week, and the feedback was so positive they immediately rolled it out worldwide. Now up to 20 people can collaborate with ChatGPT in a shared conversation.
So it's like a WhatsApp group, but with AI?
Kind of, yeah. You can invite friends, family, or coworkers into a group chat to plan trips, collaborate on projects, settle debates, or work through research together. ChatGPT follows the conversation and decides when to respond and when to stay quiet based on context.
And you can mention ChatGPT in a message to prompt it to respond specifically. The AI can also react to messages with emojis, which adds a more social dynamic to the interaction.
That's actually quite clever. So for our municipal elections next year, campaign teams could use this to brainstorm messaging strategies or coordinate events with AI assistance.
Exactly. OpenAI says group chats are separate from your private conversations, and your personal ChatGPT memory is never shared with anyone in the chat. So there's some privacy protection built in.
The feature is powered by GPT 5.1 Auto, which automatically chooses the best model to respond based on the prompt. And rate limits only count when ChatGPT responds, not when humans are talking to each other, so you don't burn through your usage limits during normal conversation.
This is OpenAI's push to transform ChatGPT from a solitary assistant into a collaborative platform. They're basically trying to make it the center of how teams work together, similar to what Slack or Microsoft Teams do for communication.
Right, let's talk about the broader AI security landscape, because with all these new AI tools launching, the security implications are massive.
Absolutely. Google released their Cybersecurity Forecast 2026 report recently, and their main prediction is that 2026 will usher in a new era where AI tools become standard for both attackers and defenders.
Yeah, we're moving beyond AI being a novelty to it being basic equipment. Threat actors are using AI to escalate the speed, scope, and effectiveness of attacks. We're talking about hyper-realistic phishing messages using AI voice cloning to impersonate executives, automated phishing campaigns at massive scale, and AI-generated malware that can adapt to avoid detection.
Yo, that's hectic. So the bad guys are getting smarter, but so are the defenders, right?
That's the hope. Defenders are using AI agents to supercharge security operations and enhance analyst capabilities. Google's own AI agent, Big Sleep, has been finding real-world vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. Most recently, it discovered a critical SQLite vulnerability that was known only to threat actors.
And this gets to a key point about AI security. There's nothing fundamentally different about vulnerabilities in AI systems compared to traditional software. The PWN2 OWN Berlin 2025 competition found vulnerabilities in AI systems, but they were standard software bugs, not some new category of AI vulnerabilities.
But there are AI-specific attacks, nay, like that Microsoft 365 Copilot vulnerability.
Good catch. CVE 2025-32711 affected Microsoft 365 Copilot and had a CVSS score of 9.3. That's high severity. It involved AI command injection, which could have allowed an attacker to steal sensitive data. Microsoft patched it quickly, but it shows the new attack surfaces AI introduces.
And then there's the issue of AI-generated code itself. We talked about DeepSeek earlier, but even mainstream AI coding assistants like GitHub Copilot can auto-generate vulnerable code, expose sensitive data, or propagate insecure coding practices.
A recent study found that 81% of IT professionals are using Gene AI to assist with coding and software development. Nearly 3/4 plan to build 10 or more apps in the next year using AI-powered development. That's a huge shift, and it introduces significant security risks if we're not careful.
And for us in South Africa, with our municipal elections coming up, there's the whole issue of AI-generated misinformation and deepfakes. YouTube has been working on this, right?
Yes, YouTube launched a likeness detection system that lets creators identify and request removal of AI-generated videos using their face or voice. It's a consent-first approach to dealing with deepfakes, which have more than doubled this year according to CBS News.
And that's crucial, because with election season approaching, we're going to see deepfake videos of political candidates saying things they never said. The technology to create convincing deepfakes is now accessible to anyone with a decent computer.
Yeah, and after that whole G20 summit here in Joburg, you can bet there will be deepfakes of world leaders saying all sorts of things. People need to be skeptical of what they see online.
The key takeaway from all this AI security discussion is that we're entering an arms race. Attackers are using AI, defenders are using AI, and the pace of development is accelerating. Traditional security approaches that rely on human analysts manually investigating threats simply won't scale.
But at the same time, we can't rely entirely on AI for security. The most successful security programs will combine AI's processing power with human creativity, intuition, and the ability to spot subtle anomalies that machines might miss.
So it's not humans versus AI, it's humans plus AI working together.
Exactly. AI handles high-volume routine detection, while skilled human analysts investigate novel attack patterns and determine strategic responses. That's the model that will win out in 2026 and beyond.
So let's wrap up with some practical advice. If you're using AI tools in your business or even just personally, what should you be doing to stay secure?
First thing, don't blindly trust AI-generated code. Always review it for security vulnerabilities before deploying it to production. Just because an AI wrote it doesn't mean it's secure.
Second, be aware of shadow AI, employees using unsanctioned AI tools that could leak sensitive company data. Organizations need capabilities to detect and track AI tool usage.
Third, verify AI outputs, especially if you're using them for important documents, legal work, or financial analysis. AI can hallucinate facts or make confident-sounding statements that are completely wrong.
Fourth, watch out for deepfakes and AI-generated misinformation, especially as we head into election season. Verify information through multiple trusted sources before believing or sharing it.
And finally, enable multi-factor authentication on all your accounts, especially if you're using AI services. That mixed panel breach we discussed earlier is a perfect example of why MFA matters.
Right, that's all we have time for today. We've covered DeepSeek security flaws, the crypto election fiasco, the OpenAI mixed panel breach, Google Gemini 3, ChatGPT group chats, and the broader AI security landscape.
We hope you found today's episode valuable. If you did, please share it with your colleagues, your friends, your family. The more people who understand these threats, the safer we all are.
If you want to hear more of the same, subscribe to Priviso on Apple, Samsung, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or YouTube.
And if you need security, risk, or ICT legislation advice, contact Priviso Consulting directly at admin@priviso.co.za. Stay safe, everyone.
And if you have topics you'd like us to cover or questions about anything we discussed today, reach out to us. We love hearing from our listeners.
This has been Priviso Live.
Thanks for listening.
Stay
safe,
secure.
everyone.